Hello chess lovers, Soren here, and in today's video I want to share with you another interesting game. But first, probably you know that Iranian-born French chess player Alireza Firouzja celebrated another victory at 23rd European Team Championship. This time in the 6th round, Greek chess grandmaster Dimitrios Vasilis fell victim to young talent's skills, and thus in the chess world ranking list Firouzja moved to the 3rd place. With 3 rounds still to go, Firouzja has great chances of leaving Dingliren behind, thus becoming a serious challenger to Magnus Carlsen. Firouzja's game against Vasilis was a slow kill, not suitable to my content. That's why today I decided to stop on another game played by Firouzja. This game is from 2020 Ivanchuk vs Firouzja online rapid and blitz match. This is game 11, and after 10 games the score is tied 5-5. So there is one more game to break the tie and we are good to go with the last game. And Ivanchuk, Ukrainian chess grandmaster Vassily Ivanchuk with white pieces opened up with e4, to which Firouzja answered with e5. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. The good old Rui Lopez is on the board, Morphy defense, and Firouzja is choosing the so-called modern Steinitz defense. Bishop d7, d4, g6. Other alternative is playing knight e7, knight g6 followed by bishop e7. In the game, black decided to go for the fianchetto of the kingside bishop, and by first playing bishop g5 and then moving the bishop on e3, white is somewhat managing to weaken opponent's position. Black castled kingside. Usually in here first black is playing knight f7, but we will see that in this game Firouzja is not hurrying to make that standard knight's retreat. Queen e8, bishop b3, b6, nothing special. Let me tell you that we have an equality. Both players have already completed the development and now are just trying to find better squares for their pieces. At the moment black is even trying to organize a kingside attack, but with knight h2 seems like that white is managing to stop any possible counterplay. f3, white is strengthening his kingside further, and finally knight f7 is on the board, which can allow black to go for h5 and then g4, right? Anyways, rook d1, bishop c8, bishop f2, knight d7, knight e3. We see some maneuvering by both sides, and now Ivanchuk will double up his rooks. Rook d e8. A provocative move. It's not like that knight c4 was a serious threat, but we have rook d e8, and at this point Ivanchuk made a daring decision and played rook takes d6. An exchange sacrifice is on the board, which is allowing white to intrude inside opponent's camp. Now the pawn on b6 will also drop, and white is suddenly getting a queenside pawn majority, and now will try to rely on the power of those pawns. Bishop d7, rook b5. This time Ivanchuk is sacrificing the second rook. This is crazy, guys, but let me tell you that knight d5 is better. Knight d5, and then if rook b8, then queen a6. And you are really managing to strengthen your position very much, you know. It's very difficult to play this position with the black pieces. Instead we have rook b5, and now black can even accept the exchange sacrifice, but probably Firouzja got afraid of the power of white pawns. Maybe he thought that it will be impossible to stop those pawns, and he's not hurrying to make that decision. Bishop takes f5, bishop c5, knight d4, queen d1, and the rook on b5 drops. Looks like that Ivanchuk was really happy with getting rid of that rook. And now black is getting a nice counterplay, you know. Let me tell you that instead of moving back the queen on d1, better was queen e3. And in this case, you are like maintaining the possibility of later going for some checks from c3, you're hitting on g5, a better square for the queen, of course. For example, if h6, then check, and then you can play queen c3 check, Instead we have a passive looky queen d1 move, and now it's black who is managing to gain advantage. Bishop d4. Interestingly, white is not interested in this rook. Instead, Ivanchuk is offering the exchange of dark squared bishops. An exchange on d4 finally followed, queen g7, and this time Ivanchuk played queen takes g7. So white has two minor pieces against two rooks, and like 2 pawns, right? 2 passed pawns, but turns out that this is not enough and you can't do much against powerful black rooks. The pawn on f3 also dropped. Now we have a hanging bishop. Bishop c4, an exchange on d5 followed, rook f5. Firouzja is defending really very accurately, and now we will see how he will manage to successfully stop white pawns. What's wrong with king f2? Then black has rook b e8 move, right? In our game we have c6, and the knight on e3 also dropped c7. This white pawns may look menacing, but turns out that you can't do much. Supported by the bishop, they are not enough to reach the 8th rank successfully, and at this point Ivanchuk resigned. Yeah, just no way to make a progress. If here, then black will just win the pawns, and this is winning for black. That's why, yeah, at this point Ivanchuk resigned. A nice game, of course. Double exchange sacrifice by Ivanchuk, then an attempt to make use of the passed pawns, but Firouzja defended accurately and managed to win. Although at some point that was really a bad decision from Ivanchuk to make the second exchange sacrifice. With an active piece play, he could really do better, In the end, a chess puzzle for you where the task is to win with the white pieces. As usual, we'll wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in my next video.